Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaudhata Vrinda. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaudhata Vrinda. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaudhata Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna
He's on like that. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Mate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shivasari Gaura Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Raghupati Raghav Raja Ram Patita Pavan Sitaram. Raghupati Raghav Raja Ram पतित पावन सीताराम। सीताराम जय सीताराम भज मन प्यारा सीताराम। रघुपति राघव राजा राम पतित पावन सीताराम। सीताराम जय सीताराम भज मन प्यारा सीताराम। जय प्रभुपादा जय प्रभुपादा प्रभुपादा जय प्रभुपादा। जय जय गुरुदेव 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 जय जय गुरुदेव। विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य स्तोत्र शता नित्यलील प्रस्ति श्रीमन गणेश वैष्णव अरविंद भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। ब्रह्म मध्व गौड़ीय संप्रदाय की जय। इस्कान वर्तमान गुरु वृंद की जय। निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जायामुदीरये। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवतीम् उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। So reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 9, Chapter 11, Text 23, and we are Ram Prakash has chosen two more, so we will go through that. Shri Rama Rameti Rameti Rame Rame Manorame Sastanama Tattulyam Shri Rama Nama Varana. Purusho Ramacharitam Shravanair Upadharayan Anashramasya Paro Rajan Karma Bandher Vimuchyate. Purusho Ramacharitam Shunaver Upadharayan Anashraya Paro Rajan Karma Bandhir Vimuchyate. Purusho Ramacharitam Shanaver Upadharayan Anashramasya Paro Rajan Karma Bandhir Vimuchyate. Purusho Ramacharitam Shravanair Upadharayan Anashamasya Paro Rajan Karma Bandhir Vimuchyate. Sure. Purushaha, anyone, Ramacharitam, the narration concerning the activities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Ramachandra. Shravanaihi, by oral reception. Udharayan, simply by process of hearing. Anashamasya paraha, becomes completely free from envy. Rajan, O King Parikshit, karma bandhanaihi, by the bondage of fruitive activities. Vimuchyate, one becomes liberated. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Abhay Aurobindo Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. O King Parikshit, anyone who orally receives the narration concerning the characteristics of Lord Ramachandra's pastime will ultimately be freed from disease of envy and thus liberated from the bondage of fruitive activities. Kindly repeat responsibly. O King Parikshit, anyone who orally receives the narration concerning the characteristics of Ramachandra pastimes will ultimately be freed from the disease of envy and thus be liberated from the bondage of fruitive activities. Purport. Here in this material world, everyone is envious of someone else. Even in religious life, it is sometimes found if one devotee has advanced in spiritual activities, other devotees are envious of him. Such envious devotees are not completely free from bondage of birth and death. As long as one is not completely free from the cause of birth and death, one cannot enter the Sanatan Dhamma or eternal pastimes of the Lord. One becomes envious because being influenced by the designation of the body, but the liberated devotee has nothing to do with the body, and therefore he is completely on the transcendental platform. A devotee is never envious of anyone, even if he is enemy, because the devotee knows that the Lord is supreme protector, he thinks. What harm can the so-called enemy do? Thus a devotee confident about his protection. The Lord says, Yatha mam prapadyante tham staiva bhajamyaham. According to the proportion of one surrender unto me, I respond accordingly. A devotee must therefore be completely freed from envy, especially of the other devotees. So to envy other devotees is a great offense, a Vaishnava aparada. A devotee who constantly engages in hearing the chanting of Shravana Kirtana is certainly freed from disease of envy and thus becomes eligible to go back home, back to Godhead. Thus ends the way Bhaktivedanta purport. Purusho Rama Charitam Shravanair Upadharayan Anashamasya Paro Rajan Karma Bandher Vimuchyate. Prabhupada makes an important point here is in the purport. He is talking about probably ISKCON devotees. So how many of us are facing this kind of problem? I'm also the party to it. So that means we are in the process of learning. The process of learning process of practicing. But until you try to realize things, then the next steps comes, Krishna reveals from the heart, where you become conscious that everybody is serving Krishna and I am supposed to serve them. So it so happened there was a debate among the servants of especially Lord Ramachandra, and especially the four people who were five. What is Rama? He himself is the supreme. Everybody was. Sita was serving him. Hanuman was serving him. Lakshmana was serving him. Bharata was serving him. And Shatrughna was serving him. So a debate arose. Who is the best servant of Ram? So everybody, somebody must say something. So everybody was debating. Somebody said Lakshmana is best, Sita is best, Hanuman is the best, Bharata is the best, Shatrughna is the best. And debate was going on. Finally, they couldn't conclude who is the best, and finally they came back to the person who asked this question. At that time, the person who was speaking about, he glorified everybody. And finally, he glorified Shatrughna. Among all, he is the best. Because not even a moment he was thinking that he should serve Lord Ram, but he was thinking, if I serve Bharata, because he was serving Ram. So, in the parampara, we say servant of a servant of a servant. I'm talking about the personality and his expansions. So Shatrughna was kept on the highest, because not even a moment he was thinking of Ram. He was only thinking of Bharata. How best I can serve Bharata so that he can be the best servant of Ram. So our parampara is based on that. And here, where is the question of envy? In the purport is very clear that envy, even it doesn't leave the devotees. So a sadhaka who is practicing Krishna consciousness, and if he is not able to overcome, that means there is something which is the oral aspect which is coming, it didn't go to the heart. Hridaya adikavaye. So it has to go to the heart, from there it reveals. When Krishna reciprocates, he reveals through the heart. So this is what Srila Prabhupada is talking about, how clear it is that in his purport, he says, anybody who reads, who understands, who hears these pastimes, he will be freed from all that. Why are we not freed? It's a question. So somewhere or the other, we are sitting in this deha, jada deha. So as long as this jada deva, deha, you think it is serving you, you have this problem. As long as you think, the moment you think this is Krishna I have to serve, then this enviousness goes off. Because everybody, what we have, this body belongs to Krishna. Because we are sitting in this body, we think we are the owners. So somewhere or the other, we are trying to please our ego through this execution of these duties. Whether it is spiritual, whether it is Jagannath Baldev Subhadra Maya ki. So whether it is spiritual, whether it is material, we are always looking at pleasing the senses. Oh, I want to do nice service. I want to beautify Krishna. So all this I, as long as this mamakara is there, then there is a possibility of not getting Krishna there. So I want to dress Krishna today so beautifully. So there the Sarvi Seva Bhava is the most important. So you can know from the Prabhupada's life, not even a moment he was thinking of himself, he was thinking of how I can serve my Guru Maharaj. So in the same way, every expansion of the Lord wants to serve the Lord. One thing is astonishing and not bewildering to understand that Krishna is Adi Purusha is because of the Bhakti Vedanta purports. Even today, any sampradaya going through, they will think Krishna and Ram or anybody else, they are on the same platform. Yeah, from their point of view, it's correct. But when our parampara from Brahma, when he says Krishna is Adi Purusha, from that we see that Krishna is not an avatar, Krishna is avatari. So it is not very difficult to know the supremacy of Krishna when we read the purports of the Bhagavatam where Srila Prabhupada is given. So there is no question of envy. We don't get into anything. Just like we discussed Chaitanya Charitamrita, from there you see, Lord, if some devotee had some attraction to a particular form of Lord, he would reveal that I am the same person. Huh? So there are many aspects from Chaitanya Charitamrita we can know. Lord show his Shadbhuja avatar. Lord showed his Ram avatar. Lord showed his Narsimha avatar. So from that, it actually complements for us to understand Krishna is Adi Purusha. Every form is coming from there. So there is no ambiguity there. But if you have a construed idea already in the heart, then it is very difficult to overcome that. It happens to many of us. Sometimes we may be thinking we are coming from this sampradaya, that sampradaya, and all that. So it is not wrong. But when we take up to Krishna consciousness, when we take up to the Diksha process, we come to this Madhva Gaudiya sampradaya. There is no other sampradaya. We have to follow only this sampradaya. And this is very clear. This is not a debatable aspect with the outsiders. It's a debatable aspect within your heart because you had something else in your mind. Somebody else had given something. So that you carried. And after initiation also, if you still carry, it is difficult. So sometimes if you are carrying in this, many times people leave and go the moment because that actually keeps bothering them. I lost some of my friends who are coming from especially Madhva in the older times. 4 or 5 devotees. They were doing very nicely. And when it came to second initiation, there they had a problem. So many of them left, but it's okay. It doesn't matter. So that's why it is sometimes better to be simple devotee, not get into this our old understanding. It's fresh start for us in ISKCON. Everything is crystal clear, stepwise. Nowhere Srila Prabhupada is talking about his secondary, third, nothing. He's talking about all expansions of Lord. So when our parampara, our acharya is explaining, and that's it, we have to accept it as it is. Now leave that apart. Prabhupada is glorifying Ramachandra. What is he telling? Anybody who is hearing this pastimes will be freed from envy, ego. So how will it go? As long as we are sitting in the body, you're thinking it's my body, I have so many things. So this is where our ears matter a lot. Ears doesn't have closure. It doesn't close. It will always hear. Even when you're sleeping, it can hear. So there is no door. You have for eyes, mouth and all that, but not for ear. So it's always open. So the Shabda Brahma, which is very, very important. Why is this ear open? So that that ear helps you to understand through the heart. Hrida Adi Kavaye. So when you become Krishna consciousness, gradually what happens? It gets synchronized. The ear and the heart get synchronized. In between, through the Acharya, through his talks, your fundamentals become very strong. When your fundamental becomes very strong, then naturally, the way you behave, the way you talk, will be like what your Acharya desires. So there will be no concoctions. So a pastime of the Lord is always a pastime. Even sometimes the Lord wants to hear his own pastime. Because he is talking about a pastime here. One pastime we will hear from the Sri Rangam. So Sri Rangam, you know, there's a place that 1,000 pillar, one mantap is there. So in that mandap, always Katha Kalakshepa people will come and narrate the pastimes, different pastimes. And it so happened there is one Acharya who came, I don't know the name. So he came and he was narrating the pastime of Ramchandra. It was Kambrahman. So he was narrating the pastime, things were going on. But this Pujari was so much immersed in that. I mean, when the Katha Kalakshepa at that time, the exalted people give, you would actually become swoon, Means you would not think of anything. Just here, what's going to happen next? It's like a suspense, sensation. Everything is there. You don't have to go to the movie. In Ramayana, everything is there. What's going to happen next? So that was going on. And this Pujari, it was a very important pastime about Lord's revealing many things. So the person who was giving, this Pujari, he was tensed up. It is the time for him to offer Bhoga to Ranganath. And at the same time, he has to hear what to do. Then finally he struck. My guru has told me I have to offer in time. He goes to takes all his plate of offering. He went there and he rang the bell, go and said, their Murti is not there. What? He did not see Lord Langanatha was not sleeping there at all. It was empty. He got worried. Where did the Lord go? So he wanted to do his duty. He started searching and he came. He saw that Lord was hiding behind one pillar and he was hearing this narration. This is the wonder. So it shows that Lord is pastime. Even Lord enjoys when his devotee speaks about him. Srila Prabhupada says, I never wrote this. Krishna, made me write. You see, there is a perfect alignment between pure devotee and Lord. What is the difference? That's why the more you are conscious about the purport in your life, the love for Krishna, the love for Prabhupada increases. Our faith increases. Our trust increases. By this, naturally, you will overcome all these egos. It may take time, but nevertheless, sadhana, we have to go on with this. Many times when we are hearing our own Acharya speaking, we get lost, is it not? When Jayapatang Maharaj speaks, when Vikas Maharaj speaks, so many exalted devotees speak. When Tamal Krishna Maharaj was giving class, we were sitting and it was in Mayapur. We totally lost where we were. When the same thing which was happening that time, we are happening even today. So all our leaders in ISKCON are exalted people. Everybody has something to give. But are you ready to take? So these are most important, and this purport is making sure here the pastimes you will overcome. So many times we are sitting in the Bhagavatam class, how much we are hearing, how much we are not hearing. So that he has to decide by you. Every Bhagavatam class, every oral reception, that later on part of it, you have to meditate. What did I hear today? So if you make kind of a notes, it helps you a lot. Because abhyasa, you start doing it, naturally, it becomes a habit. So, why did Srila Prabhupada have this Bhagavatam Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya? Is that narration of 1 hour will keep you lively for the next 1 hour next day. But it is like a cow. When he eats, it doesn't take off everything. It gets every hour, it brings out that which is stuck here. In the same way, when we keep remembering the past time what we heard today, so that will help you to keep you lively. That will help you to remember. You may be chanting Hare Krishna mantra. Yes. But when we are hearing the pastime of the Lord, it's a realization. Anybody for that matter, a story means everybody is interested. Philosophy means people will go back. Prabhupada was very smart. He put story with philosophy together. And he made you the center of attraction. What did he say here? Our devotees. So he makes you the most important person to reform yourself. So that is the Acharya's, Srila Prabhupada's vision, that anybody who takes up the Krishna consciousness, it makes a lot of difference. I was hearing just a day before yesterday, one family had come. They were debating on, they were online people, they were debating on how this Krishna conscious movement is different from others and things like that. So the debate happened between the son and the parents. And the son, they said that he was coming from a Mayavada background. And this talk was going on between how to accept that Krishna is a person and this Mayavada background. And it was a very difficult for that boy to accept, because he was practicing something, some Brahmananda or somebody he was hearing. So they had pushed everything that Paramatma is nothing but Brahman, everything is coming from that. But he's a simple person. So it went on. So it took so many months, and today he fights Mayavada. So this is the Prabhupada's, what do you call, the knowledge. So when we put our effort sincerely in understanding with humility, then naturally it digests and Krishna reciprocates. Our parampara is built on this humility. Every aspect of our life, if you are humble, you will receive more. Just like water, come from top down. You can't go up and drink water. So even nectar of this Bhagavatam has to be heard from top. When you hold like this, and now it goes inside. Can you ever hold? So ego is like that. Ego makes you sit on top and try to take things. The difference between Mayavada and a Vaishnava is that he speculates and understands, and he's on the same level. So it's difficult for him to accept the personality factor of the Lord. But for a Vaishnava, he takes the secondary position or still less than that. So it becomes easier for him to accept. So this is that parampara which makes us understand this. This sloka is clearly talking about, therefore, he is completely transcendental to the platform, a devotee. A devotee is never envious of anyone, even his enemy, because the devotee knows that the Lord is supreme protector. He thinks, what harm can the so-called enemy do? So it happens. Prasadeshwar knows, Swayam Prakash knows, we are all in management. Many times we are scared about each other. Hey, this guy is doing much better, or he is intelligent. Many times it happens. At least it happens to me. I don't know about them. They can tell for themselves. But I see, always I'm worried about, oh my God, he's bringing out better points. What am I doing? I'm supposed to be the leader. Very difficult to accept the fact that somebody is coming up with more intelligent. Or Anish Prabhu, he is Purandar Dasa's top man. He can quote just like that and tell. The thing is, this man is always talking about Purandara, how much he knows about that Purandara. Dasa itself is speaking. What about Purandar? So it's always a good speaker, a good kirtaniya, a good cook. We always get scared. Because if we are in those departments, because of this bodily platform. Now Prabhupada gives you, if you are thinking is enemy, then you have a problem. If you are thinking, okay, he's my good friend, let me cooperate with him, chapter close. You are 100% situated in the best place. What is that? So this is the secret of Krishna consciousness. Nobody else can speak like this. Naked truth. A good Bhagavatam. Swayam Prakash is sitting, he is sitting. And both of them are giving classes side by side. Both are forget to give class because both thinking who is going to give better than each other. Many times it happens. We want to give our best because you want people to praise you. You never thought, I should just please my guru, he has told me like that. So when you always feel the secret of not being possessed by just thinking I'm the servant. So a servant never feels he is the master. So you don't have a problem there. So when you become subservient of Swayam Prakash, you have nothing to fear. He is always my guru, so he can always give better class. So you have no problem. So this is what Srila Prabhupada is talking about. When you hear of your oral, when you go through the years, that makes you stronger. Don't take it to the mental, take it to the heart. It makes you lighter. So, in conclusion, Lord says, according to the proportion of you surrender. So, how much you surrender? You. Now, Prabhupada says another point. To envy other devotees is a great offense, a Vaishnava pride. So, better we watch out. Doesn't matter. Even if there is envy there, please praise him. He is better than me. Because mind tells something. In Kali Yuga, till you speak out, you don't have a problem. You can scold somebody in the mind, still it is okay. Till it comes out through the mouth, you are still not a criminal. Okay? So, the more you praise a person, gradually you will start praising everybody. Abhyasena kaundi. One day you sit with him, Prabhu, you are so and so, so and so, so and so. You do. Like the 3 times you do, you will become humble. What do you think? Always glorify others. And somebody wants to glorify you, run away from that. Don't. One thing you should do, one thing you should not do. Do's and don'ts. So, a devotee who is constantly engaged in hearing and chanting Shravana is freed from disease of envy. Thus, he becomes eligible, go back to Godhead. So, that sloka is understood, purport is understood. Now, coming to the text 4 in the same chapter. Now, what does he say? I'll go to the translation. Here, Srila Prabhupada is talking about the summary aspect of what exactly Ramachandra is. To keep the promise of his father intact, Lord Ramachandra immediately gave up his position of king and, accompanied by his wife, Mother Sita, wandered from one forest to another on his lotus feet, which were so delicate that they were unable to bear even the touch of Sita's palm. The Lord was also accompanied by Hanuman, the king of monkeys, or by another monkey, Sugriva, and by his own younger brother, Lord Lakshmana, both of whom gave him relief from fatigue of wandering in the forest. Having cut off the nose of ears and Shurpanaka, thus disbringing her, the Lord was separated from Mother Sita. He therefore became angry and moving his eyebrows and thus frightening the ocean, who then allowed the Lord to construct a bridge to cross the ocean. Subsequently, the Lord entered the kingdom of Ravana to kill him like a fire devouring a forest. May the Supreme Lord Ramachandra give us all protection. So in summary, it is that when Lord takes his avatara, you can know that what all he's gone through. One point is to be, Prabhupada makes is, Lord's feet is more softer than Sita's hands, he says. So is something where we have to think, meditate on. We think feminine aspect is more softer. But here it shows that Lord's lotus feet is much more softer. So Purusha is complete in all aspects. Okay. So a Prakriti can take some things from Purusha. So by the mercy of the Lord, so they can certainly excel in those qualities, but nevertheless, they are still subservient of the Lord's potencies as such. Now, another point what he is talking about is accompanied by Hanuman. So, Lord is never alone. He is always with his consorts. And here you can see the monkeys have become part of it, part of his life. So if you overall, if you see from the point of what Krishna explains in Bhagavad Gita, that every living entity is coming from him. Aham bija pada vidaha means, so you can easily understand that the animals, the birds, all are equal to us. They are also serving some way or the other, the Supreme Lord. But only from the Bhagavatam aspect we understand the position of the Jiva Atmas, which are even in the animal platform. We can see that from when Prabhupada was talking to the cardinal in France, where Prabhupada was talking about the the animals do have life. For that, the cardinal said, no, animals don't have life. So that means to say that the knowledge what they were getting from that time was one step. At least they are respecting the human beings. They are killing, forbidden the human beings, but they were one step down. So you can see every religion has certain things where some incompletion could be there. Only the Bhagavatam is talking about complete, which is inclusive of everything, which appreciates every aspect. So that is available in our parampara, our religious texts, where every living entity is considered the expansions of the Lord coming out from him, and they are respected according to it. So now there is one pastime of, especially when you come to the point where Ram killed Ravan. It's very amazing to understand that when Ram was with Sita and they were in Ekanta, at that time Ram was sleeping on the lap of Sita. There was one crow, which was called as Kakasura. He was just bewildered by Sita's beauty, and somehow he got carried away. So he started bothering her. And finally even he started picking her body. So the blood started coming out, but Sita, Pativrate, did not want to disturb the husband sleep. She kept quiet, she tolerated. And finally, hear carefully what is next. Then what happened was, Ram got angry and suddenly he saw the blood coming out, and he immediately saw the Kakasur was the one who is troubled his wife. Immediately he took a darba, the grass, kusha grass, and he chanted a mantra, Brahmastra. Just imagine, just a bird, but Brahmastra. But immediately Sita surrendered to Ram and said, my dear Lord, you are the protector of everybody. How can you kill him? Please forgive him. But Ram says, yes, I'll forgive him. But he has offended my devotee, my consort. So some punishment has to be given. So, Ram, that Brahmastra goes, takes one eyes off. Because taking one eyes, there was another eyes. So the bird flew away. Now let us put this in one box and we'll see another past where Ravan actually stole Sita, took her for 1 year. Look at these sometimes very difficult to understand how Lord is reciprocating with the different pastime, how it is. And there, fight is going on between Ram and Ravan. And when Ravan, for some time, he loses. And at that time, Ram says, now also you have time, give her back. I will leave you. I will spare your life. But Ravan didn't do it. So sometimes you can think, how is it? Time over, huh? Tell me, how much? 10 minutes? I'll wind up. Okay. 9, 10. Okay. So that time what happens? That everybody is thinking what will happen now? How can this? Acharyas are debating over it. Here, Sita, he was by just touching, he was about to kill Kakasur. Now he is actually forgiving him. He says, you return back. And so dear acharyas were debating on this. How did this happen? One thing what happened was there, at any point of time, Sita was not thinking about Ram killing Ravan. She was always thinking about Ram. So that was there that she didn't have in her mind. And another thing was that Ravan had not touched her. Even though he was abusing and doing, all those people were there, nobody had touched. So from this we can understand that the amount of punishments, what happens at what time is different. But in Kali Yuga, even till you make an offensive aspect through the mouth, till then you are not. But in other yugas, even by thinking in the mind, you will be over. Huh? Oh, very difficult. Huh? Because all the time we are thinking in the mind, this guy is bad, this guy is bad, this guy is bad. We are always thinking about that. What do you say, Nimainare? Huh? Nodkondu baita irtivalla. Illa. So always we think everybody is a competitor. Huh? Maybe he's in a customer comes, he will see everything and he doesn't buy, he goes off. My 2 hours is spoiled. So each of us can think like that. We may be preaching, we show them everything. At least he will give us some money. He will put 100 rupees and go, oh my God, I wasted so much of time. Every aspect you can always analyze yours, how your mind wanders. Because expectations are very high. Our expectations are very high everywhere. So thereby that expectations, determines our, the result of that failure. So we have to be constantly thinking about, we are not for us, it is for the Lord. It comes or not, doesn't matter. Do your endeavor. So the moment this happened, when he says, he is not willing to give. He says, no, and he comes back to fight. When he says that he is not ready to surrender, at that time, Ram kills Ravan. So you can know Kakasur and you can know Ravan. So surrender, which matters a lot. And surrender through Guru Parampara, it matters more. So if Guru is there, his recommendation becomes easier for accepting for the Supreme Lord by himself. So that is what is our, what I'm trying to hint is that these pastimes also are talking about how Vinamrita, Namrita, Seva Bhava matters a lot in our progress of devotional service. It is not possible otherwise. When last time we discussed about Lord Chaitanya, when he saw the servant in the house, Dukhi, he made her Sukhi. So in the same way, we have to look at everybody, every jiva is in Dukhi. They don't know what problem they are in. So we have to transform their heart. If you want to transform their heart, you have to be as much as possible clean in the heart. Then only that vibrations will go. So the more you dig into the pastimes of the Lord, the more you embrace the good qualities. Because Srila Prabhupada, he has understood every jiva. What are the problems of this world through his spiritual master? He knows where to touch, what will trigger the best. So that matters a lot. And Srila Prabhupada did that. And everybody is, this is what is called, ISKCON is an inclusive philosophy. Slowly everything is taking shape in matter of 100 years. There will be tremendous explosion of Hare Krishna movement, more and more. So we have to be a contributor. You have to explore those possibilities. We have to become that warrior of Ramachandra Bhagavan to fight so many Ravanasuras, all this world, but they have not by body, but through their mind. We have to attack the mind, which goes to the heart. So we are all warriors. We are all carrying astras with us. What are the astras? The astras of the holy name, the astras of gulab jamuns, the astras of Mahaprasadam. So many things we have. Somewhere or other, they'll fall in place. Is it not? If you want to catch a dog, what is that? A deer. I was hearing that last time. A deer, a beautiful music, if you put, you'll get caught. Huh? It traps. So every animal gets trapped by something other. What about, uh, he talks about Dumbi. Actually, Dumbi is expert in getting the rasa, but it gets trapped by one particular flower. It traps and shuts off its, and it gives up its life. So everything has got some vasana. Huh? Is it not? So that vasana, use that to trap. How does the elephant trapped? By the she elephant. Huh? So we in Maya Nagari, we are all sitting here. His holy name, Mahaprasad, especially Gulab Jamun is very good, right? So by Gulab Jamuns, we get trapped to chant Hare Krishna mantra. What do you think? We got trapped because of Khichdi. How many of you think Khichdi is very good? So Khichdi, of course, in our Hare Krishna hill, Khichdi means we would not go anywhere else. We'll stand there in the queue and take that Khichdi, even though Mahaprasad is available inside. But that standing and there and then they serve that Khichdi. Wow. Once we got a chance to serve Khichdi in Mayapur also. Mayapur back gate at that time, they used to serve Khichdi. When Prabhupada said nobody should go hunger. So they started serving Khichdi. So many people stand there, Even Bhaktas, they'll be standing there. Hey, Govindas is there inside, but they're standing outside. So that is the Khichdi taste. Once we also went and stood there and took that Khichdi. So what matters is, see, that Srila Prabhupada created so many herbs to, tackle. What do you say? So we are the most fortunate people to be in this movement, but don't become unfortunate by not grabbing this mercy. So it is like an elephant bath. He goes in the Ganges, takes nice bath, comes out again, puts mud. So coming to ISKCON means no going back outside to the Maya. But existing Maya, which is there in the heart, will get cleaned up. So it is necessary for us to consciously think about oneself, how to make progress in Krishna consciousness. Think you are the only fallen, all others are exceedingly, extraordinary devotee. Every devotee you see, you think you are fallen. He is the best. By this you become humble, Krishna will be pleased. By this, I conclude taking the example again of Shatrughna, who never thought of serving Ram, he only served Bharata. In the same way, we have to serve our spiritual master, we have to serve his disciples. By serving them, by serving our Guru, only ekena manasa, just fulfilling their desires, we become purified. In this way, we can go back to Godhead, or our anarthas can go, and we can stay in this army of Vaishnavas, make this place a wonderful place. So this Sunday, we are going to have a big program, and Lord Ramachandra is going to go in our chariot. So many people are coming. It's a good chance to freak out with the holy name. Mridanga, so many are coming. I'm just seeing many people are interacting. He is coming, Kirtania is coming, Mridangam player is coming from that temple, this temple. Oh, it will be one of the wonders which will happen. And we have become the part of this Rama Yatra. So let's make this a successful and help the society by and large that they become devotees one day. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Open to comments. I'm hearing from you. Yeah, he was punished. Then he surrendered. So once punished, he lost his eyes. Actually, he was one of the Devata. Actually, I don't know. He's part of that Indra or something like that. They say. I'm not very clear about it. But he surrendered. So, anything else? He was not. She was not with Ravana. He was in a forest. I mean, Ashoka. Yeah. Well, there are 2 or 3 different versions from different Puranas. Valmiki doesn't talk about that. We generally follow Valmiki, but in Kamba Purana, Kamba Ramayana, it says that there was a curse and there was an opportunity given to who was born as Padmavati in for Vaikuntha in Balaji. This one, where at that time, where she was asking Lord to marry her, at that time he says, in Kali Yuga I will appear. At that time, I will marry you. So that Mataji, who was Sita at that time when Raman came to take her, at that time she came out because she was the cause for Ravana to die. And she came and Sita went down to earth. The mother, she came and took. At that time she was. So this is, we don't go deeper into it, but certainly the other Puranas do talk about this. But we will go this, what it says in this purport, we'll go with that. Yeah. Yes. Hmm. Hmm. ನೋ ನಿನ್ ಕರ್ಮ ಬಹಳ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿದೆ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂತ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ಯಾ. ಬಟ್ ಆ ಕರ್ಮ ಬಂದ್ರು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲೋ ಹೋಲ್ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ಯಾ, ಮೇಲಿಂದ ಕೆಳಗಡೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಸೊ ಅದು ನಿನ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಹಿಡಿತ. ನಿನ್ನ ಮನಸ್ಸಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಏನ್ ಶಕ್ತಿ ಇದೆ ಅದನ್ನ ಇಟ್ಕೋಬೇಕೆ ಹೊರತು, ಅದು ಕಲಿಯುಗದ ಪ್ರಭಾವ ಹೆಂಗೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಹಂಗೆ ಕುತ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ. ಚೇಂಜ್ ಆಗ್ಬೇಕಿಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಆಗಕ್ಕೆ ವಿದ್ಯಾ ಬರ್ಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಗೋ ಟು ಸ್ಕೂಲ್. ಸೊ ಅದೇ ತರ ಕಮಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಇಸ್ಕಾನ್ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ರಿಫಾರ್ಮ್. ಸೊ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಸಮ್ ವೈಟಮಿನ್ಸ್, you have to pick it up. So some do's, some don'ts. Is it not? A person who was in before ISKCON and after ISKCON, complete life changes. Ilva? So ಅದು ಯಾವಾಗ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನೀ ಮನಸ್ಸಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಳ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಾ, ಓಕೆ ನಾನು ಕಾನ್ಸ್ಟಂಟ್ ಆಗಿ ನನ್ನನ್ನ ಪರಿವರ್ತಿಸ್ಕೋಬೇಕು. ಹೃದಯ ನಾವು ಏನು ಚೇಂಜ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ಹೃದಯ ಆದಿ ಕವಯೆ, ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್. ಸೊ ದೇಹಾತ್ಮ ಬುದ್ಧಿಯಿಂದ ನಾವು ಏನೇ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು ಕೆಳಗಡೆ ಓಡೋಗ್ತೀವಿ. ಆತ್ಮಶುದ್ಧಿ ಯಾವಾಗ ಆಗತ್ತೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ಯಾವಾಗ ನಾವು ಸಾಧನ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವೋ ಆ ಸಾಧನ ಯೋಗದಿಂದ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಆಗ್ತೀವಿ. ಸೊ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಕಾನ್ಸ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಹಂಗೆ ಎಂಡಿವರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರ್ಬೇಕು. ಇವಾಗ ಆ ಪಕ್ಕದಲ್ಲಿ ಇದಾವ್ರೆ, ಅವ್ರು ಇದಾರಲ್ಲ, ಅವ್ರು ಡಿವೋಟಿ, ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಹೇಳ್ಬಿಡು ಇವತ್ತು ನೀವೇ ಊಟ ಮಾಡಿ ನನ್ನ ಊಟನ ಅಂತ. ಆಮೇಲೆ ನೀನ್ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀಯ ನೋಡು, ನಿನ್ಗೆ ಹಶ್ವಾಗತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಹಶ್ವಾದ್ರೆ ನೀನ್ ತಿನ್ಬೇಕು. ಅದೇ ತರ ಸಾಧನ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ ನಾವು ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು, ನಮಗೋಸ್ಕರ ಬೇರೆಯವ್ರು ಮಾಡಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ನೆಸೆಸರಿ. ಆತ್ಮ ವಿಜ್ಞಾನ್ ಈಸ್ ನಥಿಂಗ್ ಬಟ್ ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಟೀಸ್. ಯಾವಾಗ ಈ ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಟೀಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗ್ತೀವೋ ನ್ಯಾಚುರಲಿ ದೇರ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಫಾರ್ಮೇಶನ್. ಸೊ ಪ್ರಹ್ಲಾದ್ ಮಹಾರಾಜ್ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಕೂತ್ಕೊಂಡಾಗ ಏನ್ ಕೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು ಥ್ರೂ ಇಸ್ ಇಯರ್ಸ್. ನಾರದ ಮುನಿ ಹೇಳಿದಾಗ ಪಾಪ ಅವ್ರ ತಾಯಿ ಮಲ್ಕೊಂಡ್ಬಿಟ್ರು. ಇವ್ರು ಕೇಳ್ತಾ ನಾವು he became a great devotee. So what he says, the first sense which will reveal for a bija in the mother's stomach is ears. Am I right? First sense organ which comes out in the mother's womb is for the child is the ear. So that's why they could relate everything. So hearing process is very, very important. Hare Krishna. 9:10, right? So, Zoom, something is it? Anybody from Zoom want to clarify or want to reveal your knowledge to all of us?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, wonderful thing which you told. The ears doesn't have the lids. It can listen. And that's why even a patient who's in a coma, they said, you talk to him, you tell him, he can listen. That's the only sense which is there till the end. As you said, it's in the beginning. It's there till the end. Yes, Prabhu. It's wonderful.
So she is authority. She is a doctor.
No,
So
sir, no.
Pratyaksha Praman.
No, Prabhu.
Thank you for complimenting whatever we are speaking today.
No, Prabhu. It is whatever I heard, I'm just telling Prabhu. I'm not a Pramana.
All right. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Anybody else? All right. Grantraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Premanande.
Thank you, Prabhuji, for showing us the darshan.